Hi, this is Human Essence, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the second trial of Katherine Magbanua, where Wendi Adelson is being cross-examined by DeCoste. This is the most aggressive cross-examination we see of Wendi Adelson out of all the trials. So, during this cross-examination, Wendi sort of gets into being clever with DeCoste. It seems like it's a little bit of a word battle between them, and of course she is a lawyer, but we see other things going on, and I want to speak specifically about the times when she corrects him. So at one point, DeCoste is questioning Wendi about what he calls the bomb. And that's when Wendi moved her things out of the house that she shared with Dan Markel and moved a lot of the belongings of the children and left divorce papers on the bed. And there were several days before Dan saw the children when they met at, I believe, a yogurt store. So we see that DeCoste refers to, and he didn't know where his children were. And Wendi responds, "Our children?" And so she corrects him. Now, if you think about this is sort of like you can see it as asserting her rights to the children while still giving, credence to Dan had rights to the children as well. But if you look at the context that Dan has lost his life, and we see now that at least Charlie Adelson has been convicted of conspiring towards the death of Dan Markel, we'll see that this is so inappropriate and so clueless to how this comes across. But it's like this habitual resentment that was maybe left over from the divorce or the battles that were happening between them with regard to the children. But the fact that she's doing that now really makes her look bad. But she probably just thinks like, oh, our children, almost like, don't say that the children belong only to the father, that I need to correct this right now. Another time when she seems to lose complete perspective is when DeCoste is asking her about the wedding and that Dan had to take his guests to eat elsewhere because the food was not in compliance with kosher rules. So she says these were his kosher rules, not his family. Now, kosher rules are kosher rules, but they're not coming from anybody's family. They're coming from the rules set out for thousands and thousands of years. So, but there are only two people getting married. The wedding is a merging of Dan and Wendi. So he's half of the equation. So the fact that this was important to him matters, but she says it as if it's just something dismissive. Only he was being difficult. These were his rules. It wasn't important to his family. The next part of it that I'd like to mention is that when she talks about the flippant reasons why she's kept the children from Dan's family, I would argue that she probably was not too happy to visit with Dan's family even when Dan was alive, because she would have had to have been at her best, and I think that was probably something difficult for her to do long term. Then again, I don't have a reason for saying that. That's just an instinct. Then again, maybe not celebrate uncertainty.